Yeah, Homina. It's a fairly well-known fact that despite the Sega Saturn ultimately not enjoying quite the success that its rival the Sony PlayStation enjoyed, one area where the Saturn did very well was with shmups or shoot-em-ups. The PlayStation cops a lot of flack for its 2D credentials, but actually I think that's a little unfair, just as dismissing the Saturn out of hand for 3D is. In amongst the PlayStation's well-known shmups like Gradius Gaiden, R-Type Delta, G Darius and a Raiden Project compilation amongst others flew under the radar, including this one, Bokan to Ippatsu, Doronbo. This game is based on the Time Bokan universe from Tatsunoko Productions' various series from the mid-1970s. This game mostly centers around a Doronbo gang or trio of villains from the Yatterman series who set out to take on the various heroes or zendama of the Time Bokan universe, including Yatterman, Zendaman and others. Yes, this is one of the rare games where you get to play as the bad guys. With a choice of various mecha, the three villains Doronbo, Boyaki and Tonzura set out to defeat Yatterman, Itadakiman et al. In this pastel-shaded 2D cute shoot-em-up or cute-em-up. So I have a simple question. Is the reason nobody talks about this game because it's not very good? After all, it is published by Ban Presto. Let's find out. The game is set out over 7 stages with no saves or passwords, but it's not an overly long playthrough, lasting about an hour or so with the animated cutscenes and various set boss fights that play out through the game. All of the stages are vertically scrolling, and better still you can have 2 players simultaneous. There are 4 levels of difficulty and you can set the number of continues up to 9, but further continues can be collected as power-ups during the game itself. The memory card is supported to save and load your high scores and options. The basic flow of the game is that you choose your mecha for the stage, and once you complete it, that mecha becomes unavailable until you complete the next stage as it is being maintained. The choice of mecha is pretty diverse, each having different power and speed and shield characteristics. About halfway through the game you'll gain a further 3 mecha to choose from besides the initial 6. During each stage you'll encounter a mid-stage boss as well as an end-stage boss, and most will have multiple phases, sometimes punctuated by a set-piece animation. Your main weapon will rapid-fire automatically and can be upgraded in stages, with each mecha's weapon attack pattern being different and naturally having strengths and weaknesses depending on the stage. In addition, you'll have an unlimited amount of bombs which can deal a lot of damage but will take a second or 2 to engage. Along with this, there is a power down pickup in the starter's Yatterman's cat, which will knock your main weapon back down a level, so be careful what you pick up. Finally, during the stages you can pick up skull icons, which once your skull counter reaches 99, you'll transform into a giant mecha which is invincible until the skull counter is depleted back down to 0. This is not necessarily a one-hit death shmup, instead you'll have an energy bar, but it's important to note this won't just be drained by enemies, projectiles and obstacles, but you can actually fall to your doom in this game. That's right, you're not actually flying in the sky, so falling through the ground is to be avoided. Should you have a bomb loaded when you're hit, your energy will be instantly depleted and you'll suffer the fate which your mecha is taken away from you and you're knocked down to having to tackle the stage on your tandem bike where one hit will kill you. The stages also have a shield pickup which will restore your shield a little bit, including a rarer full shield repair pickup. Other pickups in the stages include a temporary speed up, additional credits, and a power up to restore you from your tandem status and point bonuses. Now let's talk about the overall presentation and quality of gameplay. Graphically, this is a pleasant game which is a notch above the 16-bit level of presentation, with colourful graphics that are well drawn. Sometimes the screen can get a little bit too busy, making it hard to work out where you actually are in a stage, which can result in unintentional damage, but this doesn't happen too often. Overall, this is a very eye-catching game to look at. The bosses are well drawn and animate well, if simply. Some are indeed quite huge, and this reminds you that you're not playing on Super Famicom, and slowdown is minimal. Sound-wise, the audio and sound takes on the charming 1970s soundtrack from the Time Bokan series, which suits it well, but is let down a little bit by the sound design overall, where tracks will abruptly repeat during gameplay, and likewise on completing a stage, the music will just stop rather than gently fade out. But overall, the sound effects are not grating, and I enjoyed the music. I just wish that the sound design was just a little bit more refined. So let's talk about the Japanese language of this game. I'd rate it as beginner, but with one caveat. In terms of playing a game, it's all pretty obvious and the main menu is just 3 options: start, options and memory card. I have provided a translation to the options screen in the video description via linked Patreon post, which supporters of the Rubbish Heap channel can get access from as little as $2 a month. The caveat is the cutscenes, which are animated in the style of the anime and are of good quality, though some Japanese learners will struggle to understand with the fairly heavily accented voices, but you'll probably understand Doronbo the easiest. None of it matters too much, but it does add some character and humour to the proceedings. Likewise, having some understanding of the Time Bokan Series' universe will add a bit more context to what you're doing, but even if you don't understand a single word of this and don't know anything from the source material, the game can still be enjoyed. I wouldn't say you'll learn much Japanese from this game, but if you're learning, it's all good input. So how do I rate this game? Well, I think this is a 3 stars out of 5 game, or good on my rating scheme. It's a little on the short side, but sometimes that's a good thing. And for those who just want to tickle the shmup itch, but don't have a lot of time, this is just fine. Playing even on easy is a fun way to spend an hour. Most players with a bit of skill will easily see off this in normal mode. I played this with a Hori fighting stick PS, which was just wonderful, but it's responsive on a standard pad as well. It's also worth noting that an extended Sega Saturn version of this game exists, with an additional stage, voice acting and cutscenes, but I haven't played this Saturn release yet. It's also a lot more expensive. This is very much a B-tier shmup. It's not as good as the well-known PlayStation shmups, but I think it deserves a lot more attention than near zero coverage that it currently has. There is also a sequel, which I don't have in the Rubbish Heap at the moment, but looks to be more of the same, and one that Monday maybe I'll get a chance to play. I'd recommend this game. It has the aesthetic of a Twinbee game, but with a much more conventional power-up system, which for some people is their biggest gripe with the Twinbee and Parodius games. I love those games, but I respect that some people may just want a more conventional power-up system, which this game provides. As always, like, subscribe and all of that shit, and also check out this rad Rubbish Heap merch, available worldwide on Redbubble and Amazon. See the links below for how to purchase. I've been Saki Endo, and this has been a Rubbish Heap. じゃあねーね。
ドロンジョ様、プレイステーションで今週の山場
ボカンと一発
ドロンボーうちっとな
青さが